I knew it would happen.
You went a little too long.
I went a little bit too long. So guys, we got shut down because I decided to play Little Vicious Freak and got carried away, and they were not having it. I tell you, we need to have our own theme song. Or somebody, I'm going to reach out to some people I know, because you were supposed to have somebody.
We're not going to drop no names.
So the person is me. I started playing a song, and Instagram does not want me to be great.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about that.
Oh.
Someone I asked to do the theme music, and I'm still waiting.
If anybody out there would like to do a theme song for us,
I would like to
I know, but like, I like to just go.
Yeah, I know, but yeah.
I'm a go person.
Get at the ass. Anyways, sorry for those that got booted because Toshiba doesn't respect copyright laws.
Apparently, I was trying to find royalty-free music, and there was no sexy, freaky royalty-free music.
Got carried away.
I got carried away, guys. I was playing Little Vicious's Freak because we were talking about what's freaky nowadays, and Instagram does not want me to be great. And this is why we need our own platforms, so we can actually play our own music, because Instagram doesn't get it.
And for anyone that thinks that spying isn't just the current state of affairs, you see how quick that damn...
They were quick to shut me down.
Everything you're saying. And it's not some person watching. It's an algorithm that said, oh, that's Little Vicious and Dougie Fresh. Wow. Anyhow.
Do you know, it's funny, we had a copyright infringement for Carciantelli's song, even though they're host of our other show.
Yeah, it's a lot of...
It's crazy.
You can copyright... You can just fill out a form and basically get somebody shut down. It's not that hard.
The world we live in. We need to get our own platforms, but we're going to be waiting a couple of minutes for some people to jump in here, because we are going to talk about... This was a request from one of our viewers about what is freaky nowadays. What does that look like? And I have a quote up here because, again... What we might say, I think a lot of people assume that we're probably going to say something salacious, which we probably will at some point. But I think we can both agree, you didn't even really see this quote. I picked it earlier today, and I just thought that for us, I think, is what would make great sex, which would then make freaky sex, which will go into that as more people join. But I hope everybody's week has been good. Ours has been a little topsy-turvy, but we, get through together as a team like we always do. So that's kind of where we're at. It's been a week.
It's been a week.
But it hasn't been a bad week. Here's the thing. We learned a lot of... Rob learned a lot of lessons this week. I think that's been it. You've learned a couple lessons. Good, bad, and indifferent. You've had a couple of insights. And following me, we got some good results in some things. So... taking my advice.
Speaking of following.
No, I want to say, maybe follow is not the right word.
That's fine. You can throw that out there, because I'll use that as an opportunity to throw my shade back.
Okay, what happened?
Here's the thing. She said follow her. Here's why that's only a good idea some of the time. So we live in this new complex, right? And we walk frequently.
Yes.
There's a pedestrian gate alongside of the fence, and it's bent, so it's bent inward, even though the latch swings outward, right? So again, it's bent inwards, but the lock, it swings outwards, right? Okay. How many times do you think you need to push on that gate before you realize that the way that it's bent, it's not going to keep going?
3 times. Because that's the amount of time.
No,
it was 3 times.
Tree.
No, I haven't been past tree. Okay, I only did it.
And at a certain point, I just started
times.
looking at her like Jamaican, like see.
Tree times.
About it, like that's one of the things American folk, us American city folk, like to tease the Jamaicans about sometimes is they have a reputation a little bit of taking a square peg and just banging it into that round hole until it goes in. And that was my example of her being Jamaican.
Whatever, Robert.
And every time she did it, I was just like, Jamaican, like, woman, will you learn that the gate is not going to bend to your will?
Whatever, Robert.
Okay.
I did it 3 times and then I learned.
You did it 3 times in one day?
No, I didn't do it 3 times in one. I did it 3 times in total.
You did it 3 times.
No, it was 3 times in total. At least I wasn't as bad as that lady who squeezed herself through it last night.
Zero sense.
That made no sense.
Especially since she wasn't the squeezing.
No, she wasn't. She shouldn't have squeezed anything through anything.
Should not have been doing that.
So I wasn't that bad. At least
situation.
And then she was looking at her phone on top of that. She could have gotten stuck in there. Because again, remember even the other day when I tried to squeeze, and I was like, I'm not squeezing through this.
I don't know what you do because it swings the other way.
Listen, I don't squeeze through that gate. When I tried to squeeze, when we were going to after the furniture store and we had to go over that thing and all of you squeezed through and I was like, no, I'm good. Because I would have gotten stuck. I have a lot of body.
Man, and once it wasn't a big deal for me, but we hopped the fence together.
Okay, I attempted to hop the fence.
Yeah, I was like, well, never.
So I attempted to hop the fence. I'm bottom heavy. And so so he was trying to lift me over the fence. I'm bottom heavy, but that's why he likes. He acts like he doesn't like purposely sometimes walk behind me to like look at my body, and then we'll be walking through a store and he like palms my body. So don't even act like you don't like the fact that I'm bottom heavy. But no, I couldn't jump over the fence as easily.
Not as easily. Anyhow. So, you want to get into your quotation?
Yes. So, the quote for tonight, because we are talking about what is freaky nowadays. And I mean, I will go back to, back in the days, the 90s, when people used to call freaky. But I think freaky these days is a whole other place. But the quote I have here is, love plus trust plus loyalty plus great sex equals an unbreakable relationship. And I think, to me, the freakiest is when you're in something committed. At least, again, because we're both, and we can only speak for ourselves. We're both cerebral.
Are wired differently.
Okay, so talk about the men then.
No, so again, there is a tremendous amount of accuracy to that statement, but there's also in men, I think, just the idea of like primal and anonymous and no strings attached is also attractive, but it's not a lifestyle.
But does that bring out the freak in you when it is all of those almost forbidden, I guess, in a way?
Well, we all know how people feel about what they can't have.
Oh my God. What? No, I asked that question, but I already knew the answer. And maybe I'll wait till later, because that was one of the things that we were dealing with the whole freaky thing, right? So I'll get into it later, but let's talk about
me lost.
No, okay. So I am the type of person who wants it rough and like throw me down, spin me around, like slap me, like call me derogatory names, right? But he loves me, so he just was like, I can't do that, and I'm like, do it, and it's like, I can't.
It's a different way
do that.
We're on opposite ends of the coin, and it's easy for you to say that, but we don't have a problem no more. But it's definitely
it took you a while before you.
Because I think, especially coming from a sports background and things being easy for you sometimes. I remember like literally having concerns of like in my head writing up like newspaper articles like
that you choked out some girl.
Some type of sexual impropriety done went too far and my ass is locked up in North Carolina somewhere.
I love Sin City 718. She said that's the island in you, girl.
That's what's up. It was good. You said what smoke.
It's 421.
Yeah,
420 was yesterday.
And then we got this whole situation tentative that we trying to...
Yeah, we ain't trying to deal with any of that. I'm just saying, we got some things going.
But let me secure the baggie first.
And then we can get to that later. But no, I think, is there a block on... Because again, the definition of freaky is so interesting. Because I remember back in the day, Adina Howard, right? I want to be a freak until the day... I can sing it because apparently I can't play songs because of copyright. But, you know, when we look at the 90s level of freak and what freak... Like, I want to go downtown. That's the way. Like, those were what we were talking about. Really and then it transitioned into now the 2010s and 2020s, and people talking about eating booties. And like, it's gone where, again, the idea of
porn
singing.
Is on your phone. I read a study that say most kids learn about sex from porn, which is really disturbing.
What?
Actually. Yeah, man. And that was going to be my point is nowadays... What we kind of grew up on as freaky, that's normal as shit now. Like
it is
freaky as hell is actually normal now. So to actually be freaky, you got to really be kind of
the bar has like
some envelopes.
Visit.
So that's why I'm like, we kind of have a different perspective on certain avenues when it comes to a relationship, and there's way more people out there that feel that way. That just probably don't share it as openly or whatever. But it just seems like what's the easiest thing to do is now become like difficult, which is like actually get to know a person a little bit.
Is it because everybody wants to... here's the thing. I think people use sex now because they don't know how to communicate. And that's what I question. Why has it gone to those levels? Because really, as access has gone up to information, let's say, and I won't say social media because I'm not one of those people who blame social media. I blame people, right? But as access has gone up and people have access to all this information, I feel like communication has gone down. And part of when we look at this quote, love plus trust plus loyalty... plus great sex equals unbreakable. This requires communication. Great sex requires communication. I don't think you can have great sex if you're not communicating with each other what you want. Because we had a DJ Envy get embarrassed this week when his wife went on and was having interviews saying that she's been faking her orgasm for years. First of all, ladies, let me just I'm going to make a public service announcement. It is our job not to embarrass our men on these streets. I feel like I have one job. Like, I have many jobs. You are my one job. Let's start with that. Ooh. But part of that job is you don't embarrass your men on the street. Especially, and I get it, DJ Envy, people can go into he has cheated and blah, 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 blah. The woman still stayed with him. So part of her job is not to embarrass her husband because once those lights and cameras are off, she still has to lay down beside this man. So to think that you went on and that the host was like her throwing her head back and ha 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 laughing. Like to me, growing up as a West Indian person, and again, there's benefits and drawbacks of growing up West Indian, but there's certain things you keep in your yard. Right? You don't go on national television or wherever you're going to go and go say, well, my husband hasn't been giving me an orgasm and girl, no, you don't do that.
And this ain't no real
And why hasn't he been giving you an orgasm? Because you haven't been telling him what you want. There's no way for 10 years we're together. That's the one thing. That's the one thing that people will say about us. We have a communication style that a lot of people are like, do you guys talk about that? Well, who else am I going to talk about it with? If he's not making me come and I'm not sucking his dick right, I'm sorry, who are we going to have this conversation with? My girlfriends? Because I don't suck their dick. So why would I be telling them? So I don't get why 10 years you would have to fake an orgasm with your husband. It's your husband. You can't communicate with your husband about what you want. I'm sorry, I just don't know.
I'm use him as an example. And I ain't not really wrong with the guy. His behavior on Breakfast Club and him and... Yeah, they're different types of dudes. But, like, they had the cheating scandal, and that was public, and he was trotted out and saying, oh, I gotta eat my crow, I messed up. Like, to me, DJ Envy is like the definition of like happy wife, happy life.
No, absolutely.
And it's like, that's cool, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, and that's when you get tried. That's how you don't get her to orgasm for all them years, and that's how you go.
No, she absolutely stays for the money.
Yeah, and she can trot him out there and just be like, like there's a class of dudes that'll be like, oh, I'm just dopey dad. I just do. And like, my woman is the smart one. She does everything. But like, yo, you the breadwinner, fam. So you obviously doing something fucking right. But he's comfortable with, like, I don't know if that's like the family dynamic he grew up in or whatever. It's like,
that's weird.
Like, it's not shade, but it's just different for a guy to choose to let his relationship go along the lines of a matriarchy.
My mother wouldn't be having it. If there was ever a point where my mother got a whiff of the fact that I had said something that could possibly be embarrassing for you, I would get an earful. I told you, when my mother comes to visit, if I am ever in a space where you don't come home to a hot meal, or I dare sit down at the table and didn't fix you your meal or anything like that, I would get a talking to. So for me, there's no way a woman, cheating or not, again, if a man cheats on you, you choose to stay with him, you're dealing with the consequences of his cheating. So we can, for all the women who are like, but, because that's what happened in the comments, right? Women came, but he was a cheater. No one cares, she stayed, right? But you don't embarrass your husband on an interview and say, and she did it in the sweetest way, because she was kind of holding him, and she was like, he's supposed to be rewarded, and I didn't really know that I was faking an orgasm. We won't, like, girl, that's your husband.
Yeah, remember it came out in matching silver outfit.
I didn't know about them cheating scam. I don't even follow those people. If it wasn't for something he said about Kevin Samuels, I wouldn't have cared about him. So it don't even matter. But like,
honestly, I
don't believe you embarrass your man on these streets. I that's a rule for us. We have that whole thing, right? Like, yes, no disrespect, but you don't embarrass your man on these streets.
Well, I would definitely agree with that, but I don't think that that's the comment. Like, I don't think that's the run of the mill these days. It's like, what is it? Because to me, again, sex is such a sensitive topic, and I'm thinking it shows a lack of communication in your relationship, because there's no way I'm going on 10 years. I'm not even going on 10 months without being able to say, babe, you're not making me orgasm in a way, and so let's try different things. Like, let's watch porn together, let's go to a sex class, let's try different touching, let's try oils, let's go through all of these different things. If I'm not sucking your dick right, I would hope you would tell me, I don't like you did, I don't understand what's going on here. Like, who else are we going to have these conversations with? Because I'm not going to go to my girlfriends. When are you going to talk to your fellas that she doesn't suck my dick right? Like, how does it go 10 years and you don't have an orgasm? And then you go on and anyways, I could go on and on. I just it and all this other stuff. Like, I was listening to a little bit of.
Well, he was saying that was the only clip that Shade Room put out. But people can't edit what you don't give them. People don't, like, no one can take this recording and put it down after we're done and chop it up and not say something I said. Yes, they might splice it together, but I still said it.
The words still came out your mouth. Maybe not in that order, but...
No, she definitely said that her man didn't make her.
So, yeah. Back to freakiness, because that's, to me, that's kind of freaky in and of itself. Like, because there's some strange things going on out here in these. Let me back that up. Not strange. There's some very alternative things going on out here in these streets, and to each their own. I'm not a particular person that's all that invested in what's going on in the next person's bedroom. Other than what we're talking about is the point of, like, how are you not talking about what y'all doing? Like, that makes zero sense to me. Exactly the way that she put it is like, if she did something that was very much a turnoff to me, why would I just sit there and bite my lip and like look up in the sky and not say nothing about it? Wouldn't that mean it's gonna happen again?
So Sensity says they met very young, I believe 15 and 16. This is her faking for 10 years, very inexperienced teen. But at some point, I get that. I get when you meet young. But again, you get to the point where If a woman has touched her own vagina, you know what feels good. So you take his hand and you put it there and you say, babe, just like that, so he can feel like this. And again, I was brought up very West Indian, very, you keep your things in your house, and my father was a protector, my mother, all of this stuff. And there was just certain things I would not put out for public consumption. At the end of the day, if the question was asked, you're breaking my back and we're flipping it, rubbing it, turning it upside down. Like, there is no way I'm saying, I have been faking it for 10 years, but I reward him by going. So he was saying, he's hearing the oohs and the ahs, and she said, and it was during an argument that she told him. He said she told him during an argument. Which is the worst. By the way, ladies, that's the worst time. Exactly.
If she said it in her argument.
Exactly. Nigga, you ain't even making me come.
Yeah. Again, that's kind of the energy they give off sometimes. Like, she can just vibe off like that. But I thought of an interesting spin on it. Like, let's go to opposite side of freaky.
Okay.
Like, at what point, like, because you say, there's sexual issues, there's sexual frustrations, there's sexual troubles. But let's try to go back to the beginning of the relationship.
Okay, I'm ready.
How much is it normal or acceptable, or how much of a red flag is it if you're having those type of issues right off the bat?
I don't know if it's a red flag for me per se, if we're communicating about it.
Okay.
Right? If I'm able to be in a situation where, again, here's the thing about sex and intimacy, you have to learn each other's bodies.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, how I want it isn't maybe what you're accustomed to, how other woman you've been with wanted, and vice versa. So I think that there's a learning period of learning each other's bodies. And again, if you're not doing things the way I want you to do it, it is up to me to communicate. Because why are we fucking if we can't talk? Like, let's just be blunt today. Let's have that show where we're blunt. Why are we fucking if we can't communicate about what I want? Because you're not just going to be raw dogging me and I'm like laying there like we're not doing that.
Well, I'll tell you. Here's why. Because I've literally heard it come out of people's mouth. Not like in between, but just in mixed company and discussions and stuff like that. Like, there's a school of thought that if I have to tell you what to do, and then you start doing it, somehow it makes it less authentic. Which is, like, again, the dumbest shit I ever heard. But I do believe that there's people that think of like that. Not just sex, but just anything. I like flowers. So rather than say, I like flowers, you'll never mention the fact that you like flowers. And I just expect you to give me flowers. And you just expect me to one day have the fucking light bulb go off over my head that you like flowers and bring you some.
So you're dating Miss Cleo? Like,
I'm trying to tell you it's a real
I don't
thing.
Understand that. Well, that's people who lack communication skills.
And that's such a big issue in relationships. That's why I think people get into sex so quickly. I was reading a study in USA Today or something like that. It says, y'all are getting it in more than we are now.
I know women are definitely having a lot of sex.
Because again, it's ample for you. You know what I mean?
I can go into the street. I could go if I go in the street in this outfit. There is ample.
Well, you're an
ample men who
you could take the goofiest chick you can think of, and there's somebody that's gonna bust her down.
Yeah, well, because it's just vagina and penis. They come together. It doesn't matter what the woman looks like.
That's what I'm saying. So y'all is always it's just there's always somebody that's looking for them cookies, But a dude, even Drake misses shots.
I know, absolutely. It's not the same for you guys. Which is why, for me, it's kind of like this idea of men fuck who they can. Girl, you're on it today, girl.
Very close.
Very factual.
Very factual.
You ever seen somebody's baby mama and been like, yo, dude, really?
Man, that's been going on since high school.
And
it goes on to again. It's like men don't got no fertility rights, man. I might stop at skeet. After that point, it's.
Ooh, I like when she just changed it up a bit. Men fuck who they can. Women fuck who they want. Oh.
Definitely, that I believe, especially when she says that fuck part, fuck who they want, because that's what gets y'all in trouble a lot of times. Is you want him,
but he don't really want you.
Dive on him, give him all you got, and
he's like, notch on my belt, goodbye.
He was just sport fishing, right? And that's the biggest drawback for a woman in these streets is y'all too easily mistake attention for intention.
Ooh! That's a clip, babe. Did you hear what my man just said? Say it again for them, baby.
No, that's though. Women often mistake attention, like, look at that ass, for intention. Like, and once I skeet, I'm up out of this bitch. And y'all think, well, because again, that's why sex is so rampant with women is y'all are using it to try to manipulate relationships.
That is some, like, but that's some real, and I think that's why I'm going to keep using that word throughout this next hour, communication.
It's everything.
If a man doesn't want to have a conversation with me about how I want sex and like sex, to me, that's a red flag. Because you don't care if I'm enjoying it. You're just like, look at that ass. I want to get in that ass and give me that ass. As opposed to, okay, let's talk about how you want it.
Okay, I'm going to give y'all a wild question. A wild scenario. Y'all, it might make you paint you out to be very, very, very crazy, but it will uncover a man's intentions instantly.
Jesus. Forgive him for whatever he's about to say.
But if you really like this guy to the point that you're ready to give him some cookies, then put the full court press on it. Right there on the first date.
What's the full court press?
Ask him the most inappropriate questions about where y'all going that you can think of. And measure how uncomfortable this nigga is with his response.
Okay, give the ladies an example.
So, when I'm going to see your house? When you going to take me to your crib?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, when am I going to meet your mom?
Oh.
When am I going to meet your kids?
Oh.
When are you going to take me by your office? Show me where you work? Like, if he ain't really digging you...
Oh, no, he's going to be
like... And even if he is really digging you, he might be like, whoa. But he will at least try to be delicate with it. If a nigga is just trying to smash, he going to be like, are you crazy? Never. Right off the bat, he's just going to straight up and tell you, like, I'm just trying to fuck.
Really?
You don't put him under so much pressure that he got to tell you his intention.
That is true. So you're not asking one question, you're asking multiple questions of that next step, next level.
It'll save y'all a little bit of heartbreak.
But I think again, communication isn't a thing these days. I think people are not. We meet. We see, we feel, pheromones are going off and, oh my God, he's tall and sexy and she's got a big booty and big breast and smack, we're in bed and there isn't a conversation.
Again, this is 2022. You give him the booty and then you ask him, what are y'all?
You can't do that, girl. No, girl, you can't do that. No.
Like, what's up? Like, but we just had sex.
No, he doesn't care. Like,
exactly. That's how he's like.
I already got what I wanted. I've said it at several shows, and I've been saying it for a year. Every date is a down payment on sex. So once he's gotten the sex, some of the questions that you would have gotten honest answers to, you're no longer gonna. Because, like you always said, all I have to do is stop having sex with you. That's all. At this point, I've lost my power. Right? So this is why, for me, when women are going full court press in sex, before full court press in, let me find out if this man has any intentions for me.
Get to know this dude, figure out who he is and how he's looking at me.
Right? Like, you're showing up and it's already lingerie and red light special and whips and chains and it's been the first or second date. Like, you're giving him all of that. At this point, like, I'm a bisexual woman, and some woman tries to come at me, and we show up at her house after we gave her one meal, and she's got red light special. Oh no, we hitting that. Like, and I'm a woman.
Here's another thing. If a man senses you're trying to manipulate him,
with sex?
No, just period.
Okay.
He gives zero fucks about doing you dirty.
Oh. So what are signs of, because again, you've been around. Love you so much. You've been around and around, the world and around.
Just one around.
No, you've been several rounds. Okay. Yeah. So what are signs for you that have, because again, Rob has not been in a bunch of relationships, right? You have not.
I know the manipulation.
So ladies, give them the game where men are like, no, she's trying to manipulate.
Like it's again, because again, okay, here I've been through this situation more than a dozen times. We meet right off the rip. I'm casual. I might be in a different country. It might be whatever. But I'm not looking for nothing permanent. I'm just a fly by the seats type of pants and type of dude. I'm letting you know that off the rip. I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
So, and again, you weren't a dater, so you weren't really taking women on date until you told me you didn't take girls on date until you smashed.
It is coming off. I'm letting you know what it is off the gate because it's easier for me that way too. Right off the rip. So, okay, that's fine. I'm not looking for nothing serious. And it's like, okay, cool. And then that goes on. And in my head, I used to be like 3 to 6 months, then the shit's about to start. You know what I mean? And
that's a long time.
With the manipulation. And it's just, some wait longer than others. Some would try it after a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? And some be in their mind playing the long game. So they trying to just rock you to sleep, in my opinion, kind of get you comfortable, lullaby. It's just start, and then you start seeing little things of her like trying to manipulate herself further into your life.
So what are those signs? Because again, I think the ladies want to know. Like again, I think sometimes we think we're smarter than we are. Right, I think a lot of women really want to think that men are dumb. And you guys pay a lot more attention than we give them credit for. Like, you pay attention to a lot of things that I do that I don't even realize you're paying attention to.
Here's the number one is you come to his place,
okay,
and you start coming up with reasons and excuses why you can't go home.
Oh, well, that's very obvious. Or she leaves something.
She leaves. Trying to leave.
She brings something and leaves it, right?
A
toothbrush or whatever.
So when you start kind of shutting that down, then it's like, it just furthers that insecurity of where's this going. But it's like, how is that a question?
If I told you in the beginning that we ain't going nowhere.
Right. So who's manipulating who now?
But do a lot of women then throw in the pum pum and then try to go over and above?
Like, it doesn't really work casual to serious unless you've had discussions before y'all even started being casual of whether a motherfucker even look at you like that.
So even trying to swing from chandeliers, and for a lot of men that don't mean nothing. I've already told you, I'm not really trying
because whatever it is in his mind that doesn't make you fit for that position, it's not going to really change.
Even if she's swinging from chandelier.
Even if you're swinging from a chandelier.
And eating
there's
the
something about you, he's like, doesn't fit what I'm looking for. So yeah, you can do all the tricks in the world you want to. It doesn't change the fact that there's something he's not looking for. And he's not going to tell you that because he don't want to mess up you hanging from the chandeliers. So he's just going to let it run until you get to the point that you're frustrated and where's this going? I'm out. Ultimatums and shit like that. And again, that don't have a ton to do with freaky, but it's like...
No, it does. I do, because I think a lot of
women think, I'm a freak, like that's going to get you something.
And that's what I was going to say, right? I think there's a lot of women who feel that if I can throw it down in the bedroom, that alone will change a man's mind about, like, think about Karen Steffens, Superhead, right? That girl could clearly be, if you've seen the Mr. Marcus in her, like, I probably watched it because I'm like, hold on, girl, what you doing? Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. But again, did she really end up in serious
What's her nickname?
Relationship? Superhead.
Not super French toast. Not super clean bathrooms.
Babe.
Not super good with money. Not none of the nigga actually value. Superhead. So yes, everybody in Hollywood was checking for her. We're like that. Let my buddy be like, yo, man, you might want to kick the tires. You might get straight. Like that's some real talk though. Sometimes some of y'all That's
no. You spent some real game.
No, some of y'all represent yourself that poorly. Like you throw yourself that hard at a nigga that he start feeling like he can just pass you off to one of his niggas.
Oh no. No. Sin City said typically bathroom. But no, this is stuff women need to hear because I think we live in a world that, again, a lot of women think that they can put their pom-pom on a platter and that alone is enough. But you just, and again, Sin City's laughing at it, but you want, a lot of men know, like, again, I'm going to go back to what Cam Newton said, right? You boss bitch energy, I'm this, I'm that, I'm out in these streets, I'm, whatever. But he's like, but you can't cook, you can't clean, you know how to be quiet.
That's the biggest one.
You don't know. You don't know how to make a man lead. You don't know because here's the thing, ladies. Stop listening to women tell you how to get a man and what a man wants.
I heard the most idiotic shit in the world. I literally heard this woman trying to tear down a predominant figure in this whole game. We all know who it is.
Oh, Mr. Uncle Kevin
saying
Samuels?
That women should listen to married women about how to get a husband. As if married women can give you the secret. How many of those married women gave themselves a ring?
None of them.
Exactly. So who's the gatekeeper to fucking marriage?
Men.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm never going to ask you. If I have to ask you, we have a problem. If I have to turn around and ask you, we have a problem. And listen, and I think, again, there's all of these ideas and these ideals that sex, if I can throw it down in the bedroom, that's really all I need to do. And so the freakier I am, the more I'm willing to do, the more I'm willing to tolerate. I'm going to use the word tolerate because let's talk about threesomes for a second. Because a lot of people think the threesome is one of the freaky things that you can do, right? Like you giving your man extra cooch. But a lot of the times that backfires on a lot of women, this whole threesome thing, because what they're not realizing is when you are bringing another woman into your bedroom and into your life, if you're already not your man's ideal and that woman is, and again, it's not that the woman is showing out, but there's certain things that you look for. There's certain things I know that you like. There's certain things that appeal to you. There's all of that. If the next woman is giving you that, you're like, huh, interesting. The experience I'm having with her is not what I have every night. Okay, I'm gonna keep trying this. I'm gonna tell Sheba to keep bringing this girl back and bringing this girl back and bringing this girl back, and then like a situation that you end up leaving my ass for the next girl because she exhibited the qualities that I was lacking. And it wasn't secure enough. Like we weren't secure enough. Really, but a woman thought again, bringing an extra person in my bedroom, that's going to spice it up and he's going to see. But baby girl, if you aren't already his ideal and you aren't giving him in other parts of his life what he wants, you just throwing in an extra pussy, like, no.
And here's, especially when you get around dudes that have some options, have been around some females.
Oh, you got options, and I'm not stupid.
I mean, not even that, but like, when you come across a woman who, like, she got blinders on, like, so the only way she can try to keep you is through sexually, like, that's a huge turnoff, actually.
Talk about that more.
Because you like a one-trick pony.
Oh, no. And men don't really like that trick all the time.
No, like, come on, yes. No guy is wanting to be with, horn rimmed glasses and, the librarian, unless you're the sexy librarian or something like that. But what it says is that's just a component of what a man truly desires. You know what I mean? Let's go back to last week. Like, if you're not submitting to him, he don't even trust you. So you can be hanging from the chandeliers, but you don't submit. And guess what? That relationship is going nowhere.
So let me ask you a question. If a woman...
And I don't even understand how you can hang from the chandeliers and not submit. That doesn't even make sense.
Because I think... Here's the thing.
Why you can't take that same energy you hanging off the chandeliers with?
And that's a good...
Outside the bedroom and just do what I asked you to do.
Oh. No.
That sounds rude, huh?
No, it's not, but I just thinking about that. No, but a lot of women, because I think a lot of women feel like I need to show him my skills. And that's unfortunately where their skill sets are. And they're okay with submitting to your will in the bedroom, but once the orgasm wears off, or for Gia Casey, no orgasm at all, the faking, then they go back and switch to that boss bitch, boss chick, whatever energy it is, which is repulsing to a lot of men.
Here's it's just we look at things a lot differently, man. Like, again, and you have to know what type of dude you're dealing with. You have to know how he looks at situations and how he deals with that. We live in an era where women's body count going through the roof because they think men don't care. Or they think men don't talk about that. But you hear it frequently of like, why did she get wifed up? It's like, because she wasn't running all through the streets. And again,
So, thank you, Dre. He said, that's not enough. I want a woman that's concerned about my well-being as well as my soul, and that's sexy to me. Which goes back to this. Love plus trust plus loyalty plus great sex equals an unbreakable relationship.
Man, sex ain't men understand sex a lot differently than women do, first off. For us, there's like almost instinctual boundaries.
Okay, talk about that.
Because again, sex for us is a quantity affair.
Yes.
We're programmed to have as much sex as we can.
Yes, I agree.
So, with that mindset, how do you think if you're programmed for quality, it's a good thing for you to try to race me in body count?
Oh, no, I should not do that.
But y'all are having more sex than we are today.
Because we are not realizing that sex is not a way to get or keep a man. They have sex dolls now. So if that's all, like literally, we did a show on our other show about a man who actually married sex dolls, right?
Man,
like
made a rice cooker.
Right? It was just like,
y'all better stop playing.
Right? Like it's if that is all you have to offer, they've literally now made inanimate objects who can give a man that without all the sass.
Okay.
Without all of it. So I would hope that sex is not the only thing you have, because again, sex when it is good sex, and to me, here's the thing, freaky sex is fun sex. It's when you're enjoying your partner, right? There is a bit of, some people there's a bit of BDSM, there's a bit of control, there's a bit of whatever, but you should be enjoying it. Mm-hmm. It's not something that's not enjoyable, right? And so for me, part of that is communicating what you want. But if sex is all you have, then can you really communicate? Because sex is all you have. Sex is where you come together and you unite. Ooh. Go ahead.
If y'all talk better when you're having sex than you do when y'all not having sex, that's probably a red flag.
It's a huge red flag.
Pretty big one. Like, how is it that y'all can communicate when y'all in that space, but the minute you get outside of that, the communication breaks down?
Because can you really be freaky without communication?
I don't think so. Because unless you just, like you said, Miss Cleo and I'm Nostradamus, and we just reading minds and predicting outcomes and just naturally know what to do with each other.
And how well are you communicating with someone that you don't have a true connection with? And it doesn't have to be, I'm not talking about gooey in love, because again, if you've watched our show before, we talk about the fact that love is not the entire basis of a relationship. But just like Dre said, a woman who's concerned about his well-being and his soul and stuff, that's sexy for him. So that's a connection. He's going to connect very differently with a woman he feels that coming from than a woman who's just throwing some ass on a platter. So for me, my thing is I think 90s R&B, Adina Howard, Mary J. Blige, SWV, all of them talking about I want to go downtown, and things that we were just like, oh my God, I can't believe we're singing about that. Because thinking about sucking dick in high school, you talked about it. Like, black girls were like, no, and white girls were like, yes, like, I'm on it. Like, black girls were wanting to give up the cooch. Totally. White girls were like, no, I'll give up my mouth, but you're not about to rip me out for my husband, right? So it was just like, it was very interesting, even in the 90s, and now we've got eat your booty like groceries.
Yeah, that's a little different.
So it's just like, and again, because it's so out there, you know, let's get to, like, what is really freaky nowadays? Yeah, it's like, just, it's readily available.
Like, if eating booty is your first pitch, like, what's the follow-up? Like, God damn.
Where do you go after eating the booty like groceries?
I don't know.
Because I'm at a loss.
I'm actually like, that's what I'm saying. If that's the first pitch, like, what else is coming? Like, I don't know how you up your game from there.
And listen, I have no judgments what people want to do. I am very big on, God.
But I'm telling you, I'm speaking just for the men's side of it, if you just dive right on in there like that, in his head, he's like, how much practice have you had that you just diving right on in like that? Unless you're Drake. Like, Drake expects that type of behavior because he's Drake. And I'm just using him as the example.
Why Drake?
You know what I mean? But the average dude, even if he feels like, yo, I'm fly, I'm sharp, but if you're going
straight to the booty cheek, he is like... And that's interesting because I don't know if a lot of women think about that, right? Like, again, it's funny. Let's go back to Gia Casey and her talking about sex is performative, right?
He's definitely that. He's one of them. Like, you know Sheba.
I know.
My name is Sheba. He's like, he might just be like, the dude will be like, oh yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, it's a rap on your ass. Because you just running around the streets eating booty like
groceries. But again, I think sex is performative. Like, there's a lot of women, and I'll speak for women because I'm not a man. This is why you're here. Sex is performative, and I think they want to give a performance. They want to give to the men that they really want. They want to give their best performance, right? Because, and let's call it. We both played sports. You want to, when you're auditioning to be on the team. When I was running track and I had to beat everybody, right? Like, I'm naturally competitive. You beat everybody and you get on the team. For some women, they bring that competitive mindset into sex, right? I need to go in there because Rob is, I've been hearing about Rob. Rob is that guy. I'm getting that chance with Rob. He's the man around, the 6'9". He's the star basketball player. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna show him what I got. So she's gonna be spreading them booty cheeks and eating the booty like groceries. But in your mind, you're like, yo, did she do that because I heard Tim boinged her last week. I wonder if she was eating his booty too. Like, you're not thinking, oh my God, this is a great experience. Like,
no, you're thinking both. You're thinking it simultaneously. That's how strange we are. Or maybe I'm just speaking for myself. At one hand, you're like, I'm just, okay. And in the other hand, you're like, I'm definitely not claiming her.
Oh no. So while I think about that, Dre says at my age, it's more now getting to know my wife all over again.
There you go.
Because I'm not the same person that walked down that aisle 20 plus years ago, because we're empty nesters, because we focus on
the kids. On the kids, basically. Yeah, and I think that's a very fun place to be in. Is when the kids out the house, and like my man said, it's almost like getting to know each other. It's almost like getting to date each other. You don't have the
distraction of children who want to know what mommy would have having for dinner.
And kudos to you to be able to survive, to arrive at that point.
And God bless you.
And this is really what
I'm definitely
traditionally is supposed to be the best part of your life. You know what I'm saying? Now y'all can just get back into each other. And we are eating random booty. Eating booty like random. That's a big no, man.
No. Getting the kids off with sex is a must now. No facts.
Oh.
No fact. I was already counting down yesterday. Did you hear me say what, like 5 years, that one's out of the house?
It's a part of that process. Like,
they're out.
I'd be like, man, I don't care about them kids.
No, like getting and Sage. Thank you. Our sponsors. No, there are women who are out here eating the booty like groceries to random. And then that's so interesting because I don't think women think about what you just said. Like, if you are meeting a man and you on the first night is spreading them cheeks, and you know that, again, Todd was talking about Sheba, and you're like, yo, Todd, so, and he, like, y'all don't want to be comparing notes to think that you were both doing the same. Like, you want to think that I gave you something special.
Okay, so out here in Phoenix, I think you remember, it was some female that it was word around on the streets was that she had
chopped down
like 7 Suns players.
Yeah. What was her name again?
Oh, damn, exactly.
Somehow.
That hoe over there. Chopped down like 7 of the Suns. And she was on a podcast show talking about it like, no big deal. Like, it didn't really start out there like that. Like, she came with one particular guy.
Oh, was the same night?
Remember when I said...
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, keep
in the same room.
Oh, no.
So she's like, she came with some dude, and he was kind of like, hey, y'all, I'm with Sheba.
No, please stop using my name out of that. Take my name. No, Sheba don't do that.
You know,
Sheba like, freaky, but we ain't going to...
Like, I bought the beer. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. And she got passed around? Like, and they knew.
And she was, like, gung-ho about it. And I'm like, that's a very childish mind.
No, I have to wonder, what's in it for a woman to be passed around by 7 guys in the same room on the same team who are like, this is where I go into mindset, and again, my psychology degree comes in handy. Sorry, Kevin Samuels. Yes, I know psychology, worthless degree, but Rob's my job, so it doesn't matter. But I start thinking to myself, what is in it for me as a woman to have my pom-pom pounded out by 7 men that know each other who are just going to talk about me on these streets? Anyway, Dre says, I never hit on the first night ever in my life. That wasn't my style. Second time we hooked up probably, but not the first night. I'm with you.
Yeah, and Big Dre is definitely old school with it. And I'm like I said, we need more dudes that'll just say, like, yo, it's... Again, I know he knows exactly what I'm talking about. In a previous era, like, you were judged more as a man by that ass you passed up on than you were by what you actually cashed in.
That's true. That is true.
Like, so to be the guy that all the women want and you wasn't chopping everything down, that was more a higher status than just being a male hoe out in these streets.
Because the quality of the woman you did, like, if we think about high school, I remember, like, I didn't date guys from my school. Like, my first boyfriend was outside of the school. He was actually in a different borough, right? Like, if we think, like, Brooklyn versus Bronx type thing. Like, I didn't date the guys in my high school. The guys in my high school wanted to date me, and I was just like, I didn't date the guys on my block. So 2 things I didn't do. I didn't date the guys I went to high school with, and I didn't date the guys on my block. It was just something no one told me not to do, but I was like, that just doesn't make sense, because if I break up with them and then I start dating another guy, it's just messy. And I already knew I didn't do messy. That was already, like, set in me. Like, that's not a thing, because guys will get to talking. But also, like, when I showed up with the boyfriend that I had, like, he was a star basketball player. So when I even went to his school, that was a big thing, because you got a quality girlfriend, right? Like, it was like, yeah, all of these girls are throwing it at you, but the girl that you got, even when I met his mother and would go over, it was like, she was such a nice young lady, and all of these different things. So you're right, there was this idea for, like, again, you played ball. I've dated mostly, athletes in my life. It was one of those things that the women that you actually chose, it was like you would get props for that, and not just the fact that you were just slamming down. Because I remember, guys,
10 5s don't make.
And that was the thing about playing sports for me. Like, I ran track, right? And so I used to be in the weight room with the guys, because I had to keep, I didn't get this just by accident. I've been working out forever. So I'd be in the gym with the guys, pumping weights and stuff, and I would hear them talk. And I was just like, there were corners that they would talk about girls that they did. There was a corner in the downstairs place in the dark, and they're like, Sheba, you don't know nothing about that, because you ain't one of them girls. And I was like, thank you.
Okay, here's
thank you. I'm not one of the girls.
And we can be like, oh, is it, man, the same situation? Is it fair? Man, that ain't my problem right now.
No, but life isn't fair. No, I'm sorry. I do not want to know that my daughter got chopped down by 7 men in a night. That is not something that's going to make me proud. Not that I'm going to be happy for my son and giving him a fist bump like, yo, son, you were with a girl that 6 other guys were. Like, we're not having that. But it's a whole, I'm sorry, they're double standards, and that's just what it is.
Okay. You've got 2 twins, identical twins.
Yes.
They both dimes, bad as hell.
I can think of the 2 twins in my mind actually right now.
One of them got 20 bodies. The other one been with the same dude since high school.
Okay.
Which one of them is going to be more valuable if they become single?
The one who's been with the same guy since high school.
Exactly, because when a dude, we ask questions too. Kevin talks about it. Kevin Samuels talks about it all the time. Smart men ask questions about your past too, because just like our past is reflective of us, crazy baby mamas. The only reason my baby mama stuff worked with her is that she just admitted it made sense. Like it not made sense from the perspective of the world of reality. But just she could understand my intentions in the situation. You know what I mean? What I was supposedly trying to do. And the fact that sometimes, you don't got no choice in the whole situation. It is what it is. But, again, women, in my opinion, are too... I heard another woman say men and women are the same. We got the same mind. We got the same opportunities. We got the same...
Sway?
And bro was just like...
How?
Can you have a baby? And she was like, yeah. He's like, so how are we the same? Like,
stop
what is
this.
wrong with you?
We are
not.
We're not the same. We are not, ladies, we're not the same as men. We are not equal. And let me repeat it. Feminism was not about equality. It was about choice. It was about choosing. And choices come with consequences. So every choice we make, there is a consequence for our choices. So yes, you want to go up there and slam down the whole world? That's on you. That is a choice. However, you're still going to have to live with the consequences. I'm no virgin. I have been with my fair share. But again, this is not something I would lead with.
No,
I'm not
real talk,
here's the thing, and I think that was the thing that for when I was in the dating world, I didn't lead with my sexuality. When we met, we didn't even talk about sex until way after. I said, I was actually, funny enough, rereading our messages because I'm using them in the new book. And we were talking about the fact, like, let's capture each other's. I remember saying, I want you to capture my cerebellum. God, it was so good. I was smooth, right? But I was just like, let's capture that part of me, because I was like, all of this is going to fade. Like, I'm not going to be the 65-year-old with the small waist and the big bum and the big breast. I want you to know more of me. And so I never walked into the room with my sexuality. It was obvious that I'm an attractive woman. It was obvious that but I didn't lead with it. It's like when we watched that show and I was talking about the girl who leads with her sexuality. And if she would just step back, like, men know she's sexy. She doesn't need to walk into the room with her sexuality. And I think we have to understand that. Like, when you're leading with your sexuality, that's fine. But you deal with the consequences of the men who are like, well, Toshiba's just a big booty and a big breast. I don't want to be that.
Okay, it's like to the female getting chopped down on OnlyFans by random dudes 2 or 3 times a week. You might be running the bag up, making $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month. That's fine. But that lifestyle will catch up to you when you're not able to look at a man and be able to represent him in a certain way, because I don't care how much you change your life, it's not going to negate the fact that you were getting chopped down on OnlyFans for that period. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you was making your money. So you can be like, oh, I'm a millionaire. But again, we don't care about your money unless, like I said, usually it's when a dude needs somewhere to stay or he need income or something like that. Those are the guys that care about your money. Guys that need it. Guys that get their own. Guys that take care of themselves. Don't really care about your money. So now you're in a place of most of the men you identify as wanting don't want you back because of that past that was supposed to be so freaky and carefree and worry free. But look, everybody got a past. Everybody is a hoe to somebody. But if you're not able to make sense of it, it's gonna look crazy. It's gonna be messy. And I'm speaking from experience. Again, 100% speaking from experience.
So I think what I'm hearing is, and basically what we say in almost every show, men and women are viewing this idea of freaky very differently.
Very differently.
What women are thinking is a badge of honor. Because listen, I'm all about a woman expressing herself sexually. I do that with you. That is one of the ways I show my love to you is sexually. So I'm like, listen, I think for women, you want to go out there and you want to be out there and do what you want to do. I don't encourage that for my daughter. I do not tell my daughter to jump on a bunch of penises, not the lesson that I give my children. However, as women, you're grown, you want to do what you want to do. You just have to live with the consequences of the choices that you make, because what you might think a man is looking at as something of tick that makes your wife material, he's like, X, that is never a woman that I could want to be the mother of my children. Because, getting back to the quote, love plus trust plus loyalty plus great sex is an unbreakable thing. If you haven't established any of these, this great sex doesn't really matter.
It's just confusion.
Oh no, talk about that.
It's just confusion. How many bad relationships have been started on good sex?
Many.
I'd say most of them probably.
A lot of bad relationships start because of sex.
I'd say most of them. Most bad relationships start with great sex. Because, the sex is bomb. Everything else should just fall into place. It doesn't work like that.
Because it's not, again, great sex. Like, you notice they didn't put great sex first. They put it last. Because, again, this is the foundation, and then this will happen. And I think if, I can
tell you some of them. Like, and again, even for the fellas, man, I got some random hookup horror stories on the flip side of just stealing shit and stuff coming up missing and all kind of stuff. Like,
women were stealing your stuff. No, that's what you get for bringing in randoms in your house. Yeah. You're supposed to be having sex with them in hotels, not bringing them to your house. You're stupid.
Yeah, when you plan to go overseas,
I was stupid.
It ain't your house.
And that was not disrespect. I was not disrespecting. He understands that I was calling stupid and just for people.
And if it get too hectic, you just go tell the president, like, yo, you need to move me somewhere else. I've had that happen before, too.
Well, I would not advise people to bring randoms to their homes like 20-something-year-old Robert was doing and bringing random women to his home so they can steal stuff.
That's probably the worst.
You had no guidance. Like, seriously.
No, there wasn't something that happened often, but every once in a while I got caught with still having company and having to leave. And I'm like, slam shut doors and stuff like that.
So you would leave them in your home and you had to go play a game?
No, more like practice or something like that. I'll be back. I won't be going too long.
And you think she's not going to steal your stuff? You had expensive stuff. You were playing ball. Even if they just had a memorabilia, something with your name on it to say that I had God, you had no guidance. Like, I would never make our son do that. Do you think that they could use your DNA until you rape them or any kind of thing like that? You're not a thinker, right?
But European women ain't like that.
No, all women are like that. With a man with influence and
I get it though, but yeah.
Men raise your sons.
Like I said, it's not the greatest behavior. You know what I mean? Being that way as a dude even definitely has a drawback, and it jades you on a certain level too. Like, I think that this modern living is fucking jacking us up quite a bit. You know what I mean?
Why'd you say that?
It's really manifesting itself because why are more people turning around and finding success with traditional relationships when everything being pushed out there is change. Do it differently. You ain't got to make your own rules.
We can't, again, like you said, there's a reason the wheel hasn't been reinvented, right? And there's a reason where they say don't reinvent the wheel, right? Like, how do you make the wheel better, right? Like, the wheel does what it's supposed to do. You put it on the cars and the car gets on the road and it keeps going. Again, And I think that's the thing. People are trying to reinvent ways of having relationships when the reality is the foundation was set thousands of years ago of how to have a successful relationship.
Not only that, but I heard this opinion. I can't put my finger on it, but it was a very interesting one. Is part of this modern world we're moving in is not just men or women, but everyone is trying to remove themselves from personal accountability. Like, no one wants to be a part of any type of circle or organization or team or crew or anything that's going to be like, hey, you live in foul and you need to tighten up.
Well, it was funny because I was talking to someone, one of my consulting calls, and I basically said, I think what people need to realize, and this is again what we have this show, right? Like, and we talk about changing the conversation around Black relationships because it is about accountability, and it's also understanding that when one person in the community is broken, the entire community is broken. And I think that's what the lack of accountability these days is about. And that's when women not calling out other women or men not calling out other men in our community, the community itself becomes broken. Because if there's broken pieces around you, how are you like, I'm good, but over there, yeah, they're doing their thing over there? No, it's not the way it's supposed to be, right? And so that's my thing, right? Like, you're trying to reinvent something that didn't need to be reinvented. And again, because sex is so out there. And listen, we love sex. We're all about sex. I am a very sexual person, and so is Rob, right? However, when you are putting sex out on the platter and that's all that there is on the platter, after he's had that and he wants more, what else is there?
I don't know. And plus, again, I think, like, this modern world, like, most people want to lead with their sexuality. It's like they want to identify as whatever they, I don't know what.
But here's the thing, and this is a moment I'm going to blame men.
Why do you want someone to know you're gay before, or you're
going to blame men?
This is
the first time I'm going to blame men for this. I'm going to blame men for this, and I'm going to give you an example. So recently, the Catch Me Outside girl, okay, went on Instagram. I didn't really listen to what she's saying. I read the thing, but apparently she's been a millionaire for a while. $50 million is apparently what she's worth right now, and she just bought a house cash for $4 to $6 million. It was somewhere in that range. Who made her rich off of OnlyFans? Was it men or women?
Men.
So, if men are not consuming, then women would stop putting stuff out there to be consumed. Remember when you found out that Black China was number one person on OnlyFans? Yeah. Who wants to see Black China's broke up face? Okay. I don't want to see Black China walking around. I'm not paying for that. Working in the strip clubs. Who is there? Men. You men keep consuming. For someone like the Catch Me Outside girl, who is not even vaguely attractive in my eyes, and she's 19, by the way. She's 19 or 20 years old. So she got on OnlyFans, say, a year ago, at 18. And she's already made that. Yes, she had endorsements or whatever else she had from Catch Me Outside. But most of her money, admittedly, I think from her has been made off of OnlyFans. So young men are going out there and consuming. So women keep putting it out thinking that, oh, this is what they want. They're not listening because they're watching the actions of the men who are giving. Now, is it a large percent of men who are doing that? I can't say. I would probably guess that it's not. I think a lot of these men who are subscribing to OnlyFans, they probably subscribe to multiple OnlyFans.
Right. And here's where I'm just kind of argue the pushback on that would be, again, is it men's fault that y'all can't understand the difference between attention and intention?
No, absolutely not your fault. However, I will put the blame on you because you are the consumers. You keep consuming. Which is attention.
Yes, we will give.
But you keep consuming.
Cool things attention.
But you keep consuming. Okay. And so, again, for women who cannot decipher, because, again, as much as, again, Black women told that they're the most educated, at least Black American women do, you told that you're the most educated, but common sense apparently and education don't go together because they don't have a higher level of thinking. Because you have a degree doesn't mean that you have a higher level of thinking. And they just can't distinguish facts and feelings and logic and all of that different stuff. But I'm going to go on a tangent. But the reality is, to me, if you're looking at it like, well, he keeps consuming, and if he didn't consume, because that's usually the logic on Uncle Kevin's show, right? Like where women will say, when he says, is there a high value man that is courting you? And they'll say, oh, but I go out, and he says, I count marriage over here. I count, is there a man that's vetting you for marriage? Oh, I just went out with a high value man. And he's like, well, yeah, they will have sex with you.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that they want you. So if men keep entertaining women who are not in the category of women that they want, like Lizzo. And nobody should be entertaining no Lizzo.
I got you, but that's excuse me. I work today, y'all.
I would hope you work today.
No, here's the thing though, like going back to like the hanging from the chandelier example, like if he's getting to smash on you with just attention and no intention,
okay,
why would he need to do anything differently?
And I get that. And so from the man perspective, I completely get that.
No,
You're
yes.
getting it.
There's I'll give you 50-50. I'll split it. Fellas, because again, there's certain women that shouldn't be getting no D.
And it's not even about attractiveness level.
No, it's just their behavior, how they move, how they act. The little girls at the Circle K the other day.
Oh, good God.
One definitely late teens at the best. Whole cheeks out,
whole body jaw
to where I'm kind of like trying
he's
to
just
look
at the store
away,
and he's just like I can't,
because I just don't even want this picnic to even think I'm looking at her butt, even though the whole damn thing hanging
whole
out.
body jaw out the door.
And the way they were kind of walking behind us on the way home, and they were just, and it sounded like two bros talking.
It did.
And I'm just like,
not my picnic.
Yeah, man, like that's. They shouldn't be getting no attention, but again, it's gonna be hard to hold men to that standard.
But again, but if you're not consuming, do you understand what I'm saying? And so that's the disconnect. I think.
But that's what
I get it. I get the difference.
To get it, like, because y'all don't have the same dynamic. But on the, just like we got Drake, we got the anti-Drake. Like the dude is like just all toe up from the floor. We got nothing attractive to a woman. Got nothing that a woman is going to want. But know what he does have?
What? Some money.
So how am I tell him not to look at whatever the hell he want to look at on OnlyFans?
And listen, I'm not saying, but I am saying that there's accountability on both. There's the consumer.
Absolutely. Men have
and there's there is a seller and the buyer.
Well,
if you keep buying what they're selling, they're just going to keep selling.
Well, here's the thing. The whole state of affairs between men and women, I blame men more than women. I think women's behavior is definitely keeping it jacked up the way that it is, but men let y'all get to that point. And that sounds like, oh, how you going to say y'all let us do anything? No, absolutely. We let y'all get to this point. Yes,
you do. Because if you are rewarding my bad behavior... It's when a child's bad behavior gets rewarded. When a child is doing something bad and they're like, look at me, mommy and daddy, and if you do not discipline them right away or you give them the attention they keep thinking, oh my God, I'm getting attention so I'm going to keep doing this because I want the attention. Men are the reason, like, no woman
That's why the line keeps getting moved. Remember how I gave you the analogy? She puts 1 foot over the line, and I push her ass back. Because I know once a person gets 2 feet over the line, they're not going back. Why am I going to go back there when I got both feet on this side of the line now?
So again...
And that's why the line keeps moving. Because men have been allowing it.
Thank you. So if the woman who is swinging from the chandelier and leading with her sexuality and eating the booty like groceries becomes a woman that, whether she's being passed around or not...
What's crazy is she gets wiped up eventually. Because some guy is still like, she's so out of my league, even though she's been eating booty for years, that I'm just, look at her. Because that's y'all capital, is y'all looks. So if she's attractive enough, like again, attractive hoes always got a shot.
So that's why the line keeps getting moved. And again, and we're going to wrap up because we're going to get to our questions. But that's why I'm saying the line kept getting moved over the years. Again, we look at Adina Howard freaky, the SWBs and
Superhead,
Mary
yeah.
J. Blige. Then we had Superhead.
Tried to marry her.
Yes, he did from Family Matters. Darius McCary, I think that's his name.
No, if you're attractive, and doesn't matter how slutty you've been, it's always a dude that's gonna think he can change it, or doesn't mind, or tells himself he doesn't mind, or might actually don't mind.
So, because the line keeps getting moved, and as much as it's moved, I am going to give it to you. It is men. The more you tolerate, the more women will bullshit they will give you.
The more y'all will push. I would agree with you on
like, that. If you let me get away with everything.
We know that.
No.
That's why you don't get away with much of nothing.
I don't get away with much of nothing. Okay?
It's like you said, that's not a... Look, Patrice O'Neal, I quote him so much. He was a legendary comic, and he was a prophet. One of his jokes was subliminally, women want a winner. So in order to make sure you're a winner, she will try to make you a loser. Even if she loves you, even if she cares about you, she will still test you to see if you're going to let her push the line forward or not. Mm-hmm. And if you do, she's going to stop looking at you like a winner and start looking at you like a loser because you keep losing to her.
Fact.
And however long it takes for her to convert you from your winning ways to your losing ways, is how long she's going to hang around before she just bounce on your ass.
So listen, we're going to wrap up because we're going to have some questions. But a couple of things, one thing that Rob said, women, again, there's a difference between a man who gives you attention and a man who has intentions for you. Yep. And listen, be as freaky as you want, but deal with the consequences of the actions that you're taking. Listen, I'm all about the freaky sex. I'm all about whatever you want to do, but you can't not, like our sponsor Sorlin said, eating random man's booty. Like, I'm not really about that. I'm not Robert. No. I'm not really about a woman who's just going to meet a man on the first night and spread them cheeks. Not doing that. But if that's what you want to do with your man, that's what you do with your man. But you don't want to be the girl out in the streets where they're like, oh, yeah, that girl, like, you should probably hit her, right? Like, it's not a thing. So,
and I'm telling you, even if you're a fella and you just running around putting your mouth on every woman in the streets, like, that's going to get around, too. They're going to start calling your line, like, what you doing tonight?
Oh, no, because they just need a little...
They can hop up and bounce on your ass. Like,
So let's do the questions. We're going to do like 2 each. So what is your first question of the night? Can you read that?
What was your favorite date night we ever had? Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know. Our favorite, we've had a lot of awesome date nights. I don't know, maybe our first Arrogant Butcher night, because it was a really cool night. We ate outside. The filet was on fire.
Yeah, there's a steakhouse out here that's called Arrogant Butcher, and I'm not even a steak person, but the meat like melts in your mouth.
Fire, yeah. So I would probably say that was one that's up there.
Because we went to the strip club after and stuff like that, right? I mean, the strip clubs here are terrible, but
yeah, Phoenix strip club is not popular.
God, there's this.
I don't know. It could have been just a random. Because we had, I think we had 2 bottles that night. Like,
yeah, we had a couple of bottles.
A little saucy. So maybe that's why it was such a great night too. I don't know.
And he always insists on the bottles. I'm not a big drinker, but when we go in, we go in.
That steak had me on a thou right there. That was, I will not forget that meal. So that made it a great date.
So my question is, where have you always wanted to travel? Dubai. And it's on my list. And I'm going to go, and I will have to deal with the culture and cover up Dubai. Robert.
Sorry. They worked me hard today. Crack the whip. Are you an optimist, pessimist, or realist? Realist. No question about it.
Facts. That didn't even take long. And we're done with that question. My question is, if you had one mantra to live by, what would it be? And I think it's one that we started in our relationship, which is do not make permanent decisions on temporary feelings. Again, we have a show called Fuck Your Feelings for a reason. Too many people are in relationships where their feelings are leading the way and they're making permanent decisions on temporary feelings. So
I'm
that
would answer that one too. Make them tell you no. I think we tell ourselves no way too much. put it on someone else to say you can't do something or you can't have something or you can't accomplish something. Don't tell it to yourself.
That's a good one, babe. We learned that this week.
Yes. How did your siblings shape who you are? I am my mama's only child. I do have 2 siblings from my father. And like many situations like that, we were not raised together. So I can say they inspire me to have a bigger, better family.
I will actually also answer that question. So I was raised partially by my eldest sister. We're 14 years apart. She's my best friend. She will be the matron of honor at our wedding. I've always wanted to make her proud. And I'm kind of the wild child. My family, shocking. But there's always a sense of I want to make my sister proud. I want to make my sister proud. And I actually go into certain things wanting to be proud. I'm not necessarily looking for her approval, but I do want her to be proud of the choices and the decisions that I've made. And she's always, supportive and all of that. So my shout out to my big sister. Okay, last question. What's a question you've always wanted to ask me but never have? I guess that question is to you. What's a question you've always wanted to ask me but never have? Or maybe that question is for
Why
me.
would you write that question?
Okay, so a question that... You're such an asshole. So let me say, a question I've always wanted to ask you but never have is your body count. I've always been curious. I know it's high.
It's high.
I know it's high, but I don't know if I care. But it's always been and we move on. One more question.
That is honestly the most honest answer I can get. Like,
when did you lose count? I guess
probably like 26-ish, maybe.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, last question.
After that first stint in Florida as a grown up, like I was going crazy down there.
Right.
I told you I was going to Miami every weekend.
Okay.
What's your favorite time of day to be intimate? She knows.
By nighttime, no, morning time, when you just wake up.
When
I just wake up, and I cannot stand it because I hate smelly
breath.
Yes.
Stanky breath. Yes.
And you always want to oh no.
Yes.
But I still give it up, so it's fine. Last question for me. What's your favorite activity that we do together? Funny enough, it includes just laying in bed and talking. Like, that's actually my favorite thing when we get into those points. And now we have the outside space in your, the balconies. We've got 2 balconies. Yeah. So going outside and kind of just having this great conversation, or when we lay in bed, that's kind of my favorite thing to do, because that's when we really get into the meat and potatoes of life and our relationship and our goals and so forth. So that's my favorite thing. So we are going to wrap up, but before we go, our sponsor's logo is not on there, but we want to thank our sponsor, Sorrel and Sage. You can reach out to them at Sorrel and Sage CA or shop sorrelandsage.com. They make sensitive skin product, I should say, for the sensitive soul. So again, Sorrel and Sage CA, Instagram, shop sorrelandsage.com is our sponsor. You definitely want to reach out to them before they blow up and you will not be able to get any of their products. And their touch body oil, let's just say, I use it on everything. Every part of his body.
She is a Sherpa and a guru, too.
She is. So make sure you're checking out Shop Sorrel and Sage. Do you want to have any last comments before we sign off?
No. Be as freaky as you like, because again, we live.
But not just with random people.
Yeah, just have a little reservation. Maybe you don't want to throw your best move out there on the first time y'all get down. You can over-oppress a man in the wrong ways. He'll call you back, but he won't never take you serious.
Oh no, let's. We were about to wrap up, but you can over-impress a man in the wrong way. Is that what you just said? Oh no, ladies.
Oh, okay. I'll give y'all a perfect example. Fellas know when it's let's say it's a first day, and maybe it's like a first date type of vibe, right? And she already kind of just with whatever. And when you okay, you getting ready to go home, and you kind of in your head no, it's either she gonna say she going home, or she gonna say she going back in my crib. And if she's going back to your crib, you already know the vibes, you already know the time, right? So, and then she gets in there and show out. It's like, that ain't her first time.
Oh.
She know the routine. She know the drill. Drake done bought her through or somebody, you know what I mean? Like.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say that you just dropped that heat. That's why I had to pause. We were about to sign off, but ladies, stop over impressing men in the wrong way.
Nah, man, save some of that for...
Keep some of them stripper moves and some of those...
Yeah, until you know what his intentions are for you. Because your intentions might just be stripper moves and hanging from the chandelier.
For a man that don't want you.
Not like that. He wants you hanging from that chandelier.
So again, Fuck Your Feelings is here to change the conversation around Black relationships. And please bring a little fuck your feelings into your week and into your life and into your relationship, because it might just make you stay together. So thank you guys. Thank you for those who are watching. Thank you to our sponsor as usual. Again, you did just do a drop the mic, one of your Robism moments. This is definitely going to be a clip. So thank you, everybody. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Love it, love.